Cyberspace, the Internet, the World Wide Web. The technology revolution had as big an impact on our daily lives in the 20th century as the Industrial Revolution did in the 19th century. This impact has been even greater for people with disabilities, opening up the possibility for all of us to fulfill our potential.
Websites that work.
Robin has cerebral palsy. She can't speak or use her hands, but she can use a computer and play computer games. Alongside her regular computer screen, she has a virtual keyboard, which she operates by using head movements to control a switch, which is fitted into the back of her wheelchair. Stuart also can't speak or use his hands. He too uses a switch controlled by his head to operate his desktop computer to browse the World Wide Web. And his laptop, fitted to his wheelchair, enables him to communicate, using the text on the screen or synthetic speech.
Hello, my name is Stuart Criswell. Dreamers. Come.
Bring up Microsoft Word. Begin new document. Shri
Carla uses voice recognition software to speak to her computer.
is
Programs such as Drag and Dictate help people who can't use a keyboard.
though I can use a keyboard, I'm very slow and up to about 3 words a minute. So Drag and Dictate speeds me up a bit, so I'm not on the computer all day.
Similarly, advances in technology enable people who are blind to read text by converting it into synthetic speech.
Start menu. I equals Internet Explorer. Menu closed. Edit box. U equals username.
All this sounds like great news, and it is. But to make it all possible, programs and websites have to be designed to allow this access technology to work. Peter Bosher is chairman of the British Computer Association of the Blind. He's using Internet Explorer, a standard browser, with a screen reader, which reads the page on his screen and allows him to navigate it.
Okay, so we use the shut up key. Now I'm using a screen reader here, which literally reads what's on the screen and speaks it to me. And as I can't use the mouse, I'm using the number pad keys here to simulate the mouse. Now we'll have a look at it using PW WebSpeak, which is a non-visual browser. Now with this browser, instead of my having to worry about what's on the screen exactly and what the visual layout is, it's telling me exactly what's on the page, item by item.
This page is entitled SoundLink's homepage.
When a page is designed to be accessible, a screen reader or a talking browser will be able to identify the images and tell the user where the links are.
SoundLink's logo.
But when it has been designed without accessibility in mind, a page which looks lovely to a sighted person gives a blind user no useful information at all.
Link image. Image. Link image. Image. Link image.
Okay, let's try a bit of home shopping.
Marks and Spencer UK.
So this is the Marks and Spencer's homepage.
This page is entitled Marks and Spencer UK.
Using JavaScript can give you exciting pages, but it can become an obstacle for blind people trying to get into your site.
And unsupported script. And unsupported script. And unsupported script. Link to a frame.
I'm going to give up on that one.
Peter uses his technical knowledge and his experience as a blind computer user to advise the Web Accessibility Initiative on problems and solutions to accessibility.
The power of the web is in its universality. Access by everyone regardless of disability is an essential aspect.
The Web Accessibility Initiative was set up to promote awareness of and campaign for the right of everyone, whatever their disability, to have access to the World Wide Web. Judy Brewer is the director.
The web is becoming a critical resource for everyone, and we're seeing a very rapid shift just in the past few years with the web becoming a resource for education, for employment, for commerce, for civic participation even. And for people with disabilities, this is critical that it be accessible. In the past, many kinds of information were not accessible, the libraries, the schools, and so forth. But with the web, there's the potential, because information is digitized, that it is accessible. It's fairly easy to make it happen, and the Web Accessibility Initiative is focusing on how to make that happen.
Tim Berners-Lee invented the World Wide Web, and he's keenly interested in making sure that everyone has access to it. Judy works with Tim at the World Wide Web Consortium at MIT in Boston.
One of the things that accessibility needs is device independence. It's very, very much the same, sort of the same.
The Web Accessibility Initiative is hosted by the World Wide Web Consortium.
We try to make sure that the web is interoperable and that even the newest technologies will work well together, so anyone using any device from any country and any language can access and share information together. In most populations, between 10 and 20% of the population has some kind of disability. It's probably pretty safe to say that at least 10% of the population has a disability that in some way can affect access to information technology.
In the United Kingdom, the Royal National Institute for the Blind is also working to increase awareness of accessibility in website design. One of the people involved is the RNIB's former website designer, now Digital Information Access Officer, Julie Howell.
Unfortunately, many websites are inaccessible to blind people using access technology because of the way they're designed. If we look at a particularly bad example, the 10 Downing Street website has got a lot of accessibility problems on it. For example, they have images on the front page which don't have alternative text, so that people accessing the site with access technology know that there are images there, but they don't know what they're of or why they're there.
Using tables to create columns in your website can also cause problems, since screen readers can only read across the page from left to right.
Whereas outdoors to Big Breakfast Man will join us for a live get on the Inside What's New in.
There's a very useful resource on the web which will help web designers check their websites for accessibility, and it's called Bobby. If I were to run the Guardian website through Bobby, it brings me back an accessibility report. If I scroll right down to the report that Bobby gives me, it tells me that in the following section there were a list of 15 accessibility problems, so quite a few problems there that need to be fixed. And it gives me the advice that I need to make that website more accessible. If we have a look at another example, this time Hampshire County Council's website, again another nice colourful website, a lot of images there, a lot of text and links to different things. Let's see how that fares when we run it through Bobby. Well, this time it's a different story. It's found no accessibility errors at all. It says, congratulations, this web page contains no errors. If none of the web pages on the site contain accessibility errors, then you're entitled to use the Bobby approved icon. This icon is a little graphic that you can put on your website to show the world that you've thought about accessibility and you've worked hard to make sure that everyone who visits your website is able to read it.
So Bobby's useful for an initial check on accessibility. More detailed advice and solutions can be found at the Web Accessibility Initiative website.
One of the things that the Web Accessibility Initiative is developing is educational resources to make access easy for designers. The web content guidelines that are one of our core resources are fairly detailed, but we have a checklist that extracts those, and you can just look right down the list. And for a basic site, you do this. If I use images, image maps, tables, frames, then I need to think about these. We've also got a quick tips version that fits on a business card for reference, quick reference. Just think of these things, and that'll help your site be accessible. If you think about somebody with a visual disability, it can be easy to see what the implications are for access on the web because it's such a graphical medium. Now, a deaf person who's using a website, you might wonder, what are the access issues with that? But in fact, there's more and more multimedia on the web, and any audio that's on the web, if it's not captioned, then someone who can't hear it is going to miss the content there.
As well as captions for deaf people, multimedia can also include spoken descriptions of visual content for blind people.
An animation of a car and a clock.
Someone watching a car accelerate toward light speed would see something very strange. It would seem as though the car itself were getting shorter, and that time for the person in the car was slowing down.
The car shrinks.
However, you wouldn't see these effects until the car began to approach the speed of light.
There are a few more things to bear in mind for people who have other disabilities.
If you have somebody with a physical disability who can't use a mouse, they're going to need to make sure that the web-based applications have full keyboard support. They may be using voice recognition when they access the site, and you can optimize a page for that. Someone with a cognitive disability is going to benefit from a site that is consistently laid out and has consistent navigation options. It's easier for them to learn. It's easier for them to remember when they go to the next page in that site.
In reality, when people with sight problems are surfing the net, whatever technology they're using, they're usually going to get something out of every website that they visit. But just getting something really isn't enough, and this is the issue with accessibility. Blind people only know what the technology tells them is there, so they're often not aware of what they're missing out on. And when we're talking about creating sites which are accessible, it means making sure that blind and disabled people get access to the same information that everybody else does. That's what true accessibility is all about.
One of the interesting things about the accessibility solutions is that they work so well for other users as well. We call it universal design, or design for all. If you design something accessibly, then you can use it across a range of devices, like a mobile phone or a handheld device or a TV or kiosk. You can use it in different situations. If somebody has their eyes busy or their hands busy with a task, then they need the same solutions. If you're in a noisy environment, you need the same solutions as someone who can't hear.
It's easy and fun to design websites that are visually exciting, but still accessible to everyone. Many people with disabilities are already pretty pleased with how the World Wide Web has changed their lives. Peter Boscher is one of them.
I have access to dictionaries, encyclopedias, train timetables, home banking, home shopping. I've also downloaded stories to read to my little boy at bedtime. And all of that is possible at the moment because a large proportion of what is on the web is accessible, and it's only by keeping it accessible that that potential can be realized.
Camera. Ray Marlowe. Assistant. Rob Manning. Sound. Martin Flint. Production Manager. Joan Morris. Original music by Dave Kent and Alan Mudhook for Tip Tap Productions. Narrator. Justin Midder. Editor. Paul Edmonds. Director. Christine Booth. Produced by Pacific Films for the Web Accessibility Initiative and the RNIB, with technical advice from the Sensory Disability Research Unit at the University of Hertfordshire.
Bobby was developed by the Centre for Applied Special Technology. The latest version is available at http://www.cast.org/BOBBY/. For more information, visit the Web Accessibility Initiative website at http://www.w3.org/WAI/. Since making this film, the RNIB has offered guidance to the designers of all the inaccessible websites featured in Websites That Work.